So welcome back to the SPOS after a bit of a holiday break. Um, I don't know what it is about the current version of FTD, but hologram projectors are really a problem for my frame rate right now. Turns out that's what was causing a lot of stuttering in the last video. I don't know why that's the case, but yeah, so I've disabled them temporarily. This one is going to be the Serenade by Laser and Kevin. Going through the runs right now, it's actually looks like it's tied for second place in terms of wins outside of like its own individual run. I've been keeping track of both for some reason. It's like a four-way tie right now, which is kind of fun. All right. We haven't really had an opportunity to check this one out too close up. We do know that it has some pretty intense firepower. Lots of incendiary, which is definitely an interesting choice. Incendiary is very strong right now, so it's a good choice. It does actually look like we've got some little secondary casemates down here. I don't know if we've seen them, like, really notice them fire too often. That's kind of cool. I do. It's really simple. I love it. That's just a huge missile hatch with an anchor. Simple but effective deco. Steam pipes look really good. I do like the shape of the hull a lot, actually. It's very nice. This is interesting here. It makes for a cool profile when you're looking at it. Looks like we've got differential thrust then, no rudders. So then we would expect to see a... okay, so it's a motor drive. All right. Motor drive with some alloy blocking it. You know, it's really not that protected. Oh, this is interesting. Are these ammo? Or are these just connection points? I think these are just connection points. Oh no, definitely. Definitely there's some ammo or something in here. Okay. Either that or it's like aim point spoofing. Hard to say. Whoa! Okay. Nice looking engine. Very compact. That's nice. I like that a lot, actually. Kind of thin armor going to it. We know these guns are super nasty. 3 barrels. I believe they're slightly lower than the max gauge allowed in the tournament so that they could have more fire rate, and they're just APS hole punches mixed with big incendiary payloads. I like the lifeboats. That's really cool. Nice touch. I like the texturing too. It's very nice. The ammo boxes, the lockers, or rather the material boxes and the material lockers mixed in with just kind of... I feel like I should know what this is. I think it's the top of one of the material boxes, but I'm not 100% sure. I really like the tiered deck on this. It gives it a really cool silhouette. It's got just a really, really nice look to it. And the superstructure is gorgeous too. They even have room for the middle gun. Oh, look at that. It's got a hatch for it. Very nice. Oh, did they do shelled armor here? No, not quite. This is actually kind of how I really like to do the turret next to. Just looks good. Just looks good. I love the overhang on the back. That's such a nice touch. It adds a lot. It looks really good. Ah, look at this. Awesome little captain's seat here. I do love the mast work. Looks fantastic. I'm sure there's tons of hidden detection up here too. It does look like it goes all the way Yeah, that's really neat. It looks like they had a launch for a spy plane, but I guess they ran out of materials, and it didn't end up being a thing. Nice smokestack. I love how it's got the symmetrical ladders going up it, and it's built into a mast. That's really nice, guys. This is a really pretty build. It's very simple. Is that helium? I guess there's helium above deck, water pumps below deck. Fair enough. Big chunky turret neck. Good. Good, good, good. That's probably why it has not been, dying. Yeah, it's a nice, simple design with a really well executed, simple shape. It's on the smaller side, actually. This is one of the smaller boats. Only I think 170 meters long. She's kind of petite. It's got definitely kind of bathtub boat aesthetic, or the Monopoly Battleship piece where it's almost like a single complete oval. But it's going to be going up against the Emperor first, and let's go ahead and get it started. Yeah, those are definitely somewhat lower gauge. Plates! My love! Plates immediately going off, getting blown up. Superstructure doing a great job of tanking some fire. Oh man, most of the crams missing, as is tradition. Setting a reasonable number of fires, although, again, the Emperor just losing firepower to these angry hole punch guns. I'm really impressed. I think this is the smallest number of turrets that we've seen have really solid survivability and performance. Looks like we have exhausted the clips, so we're down in our 0 firepower era. It does seem like basically all of the material is in front of the guns as just solid blocks, yeah. Getting close on this one, though. In fact, oh no, that's a local weapon controller for one of the little boys. Never mind. Secondaries. Yeah. No, this is the way to do it. Everything in front of the guns. Solid chunk of alloy and metal. Honestly, the barrel's kind of getting trimmed off here a little bit. Also, surprising firepower ratio on this one. It really is kind of a metal brick. I believe it has 42%, which puts it kind of in the mid-range for the tournament. A lot went much higher on firepower cost than armor cost compared to the Serenade. And you do kind of see it, they laser stacked a lot of material in front of their guns. And it pays off. They take a lot of hits to get to. Gone through a surprising chunk of health here. Still a reasonable amount of firepower left on the Emperor. Although it's hard to say, exactly what is really left firing here. Meanwhile, it appears that every single firing piece is still active on the Serenade. But we're definitely in the slow reloading cycle. Well, never mind. That we just lost 2 firing pieces on one gun. But down to 40% firepower on the Emperor. I don't know what's going on with crams not having any trail at all. Makes them really hard to follow, doesn't it? It's interesting how low, I almost, if it weren't for the fact that we saw how much alloy was in this sucker, I'd be tempted to start saying this might be a sinking boat, or one that's capable of sinking. But it's interesting. I imagine with all the components in the gun and all the armor in the center, That's probably why the propulsion very rarely gets sniped out on this thing. Like, there's no reason for aim point to target it. Emperor doing a great job of hanging on to its firepower this time around. And really just kind of slowly chipping away at this, at the Serenade here. Close. I think this is closer than the way things went the first time. But there's just so much armor in front of these guns. It definitely does like to list, doesn't it? You know, without the vectored thrust, a shallow ship with a lot of metal like this, definitely prone to what was that, like a 33-degree angle? Seems to be exceeding the gun's ability to depress to some extent. We've got Russian tank syndrome going on here. I do really like the silhouette of the Emperor in the distance. Still nailing off some crams and secondaries. Some cool shit, man. Looks like they've done a little bit to rework the wake trails in the most recent version of the render distance mod too. Thank Christ for that. Those were so unbelievable before. Alright, so that was kind of close, but Serenade. Next up, it's going to be going up against the Sporka. This is a novel match, actually. The Sporka and the Big Cheap have not done any runs yet. Sporka losing a lot of health, as is tradition. Lost 5% firepower. Oh, look at this! We've got the mines coming in. Torpedoes chewing a hole through the armor there. Oh yeah, look at that. It is kind of just empty space in here with, yeah, I don't know if that's like aim point spoofing down below. Oh, that gun looks to be on fire. That's not good. Cram missing, as is tradition. Long and storied history of missing. Does look like those missiles are going to miss. Aimpoint has chosen the rear of the craft. It's impossible to tell how much firepower any craft has left, because they both blow through their ammo reserves and their zero clips so fast. Nailing the superstructure with those missiles. Boy, she does sit low in the water, doesn't she? Oh my god. Some holes being carved down underneath. And the Serenade really stopped firing for a minute there. And it looks as if the propulsion... Oh, we might be engine dead. Maybe that's what was getting fired at the rear. In fact, for whatever reason... Oh, those are gun components. That's one dead gun. Did we lose most of the ammo on the Serenade? Is that what happened? Something's exploding. Which, I swear, that's like the only explosion so far. Tied in health for the most part, but I am seeing a lot more fire coming in from the shrimp. We seem to be... Oh, there goes the turret. We seem to be getting more fire going out from the Serenade, so maybe it was just catching up and reloading or something. I love that the mast is just kind of floating. More crams coming in. Ooh, those were gun components. Wait. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yeah. That's not good. Wow, these guns were fucking huge, guys. Why do you have surge protection? There was no EMP. I see more gun components and steam components. The shrimp doing as it do and circling behind the Serenade. Has now crossed to a point where it doesn't look like any of the poor little spy plane. Just getting shredded. I was wondering why I heard it still shooting. I was wondering what it was shooting at. Now we know. This gun does not appear to be functional anymore. That's a lot of small blocks and plates flying off. Really chewed to hell on this side. Bounce. Bounce. At this point, it's basically impervious to crams due to water. Unfortunately, oh, never mind. I say that right as a cram literally snipes the turret neck off. Pops the whole turret. Well, it seems the shrimp has stayed off the menu for yet another round. That's unfortunate, honestly. Another boat that looks really cool as it takes damage. I have to say, just because of the way the armor was done up and how tight everything is, like, it just looks really cool as it gets chunks taken out of it. Especially like down here. This is really neat. I don't know. I'm a block damage appreciator. So next up, we're going to be going up against the Hydra. We've seen this fight a couple times before. It tends to be very close, actually. Well, okay, a couple. We've seen it once before. But it tends to be pretty close. The Hydra has a lot of redundancy that can really give the limited gun... But, oh, I see. Holy shit, the poor thing. Oh, it's so on fire. Yeah, I think that's basically a dead plane flying. Guns are looking good so far on the Serenade. Although, yeah, look at that. Stops just shy of doing anything meaningful. Whew. Does some nasty shit though, doesn't it? Looks like the Hydra has lost a fair bit of firepower and is turning out. Oh, you hate to see that. Yeah, not going well for it this time around, I don't think. Taking a ton. Oh, it did get a gun, though. Look at that. We missed that. Oh, and this one's dead, too. So we are down to 2 turrets on the Serenade, and we seem to have hit a reload cycle or an ammo choke or something. Because we are slowing down. There we go. Alright, we're firing a little bit again. It does look like the Hydra is dead in the water. The railings. You guys have actual railings on this thing. Brave. Bold choice. I guess it does mean that this superstructure is great for aim point spoofing, since you actually have plates and railings on the sucker. There's just a ton of blocks. Well, whatever snag we hit with ammo has certainly been overcome. We are just railing on the Dreadnought right now, which is hanging on fairly well in terms of health, honestly. Especially considering it does appear to be propulsion dead. And there are still some level of... there's still reasonable firepower left. I imagine we're higher than 25%. I think this is zero clip stuff going on again. Because I'm seeing a reasonable number of rounds still coming in. Another reload cycle. Unfortunately, the rounds just really are not targeting. Incoming fire, first off, has slowed down tremendously, since I mentioned. But also, they're just not... they're not going for good spots. They've largely been shooting at the front and the rear turrets, which are already disabled. So it's really not going to help it come back at all. Again, ship looks good when it takes damage. Something about the chonkiness of the armor here really really lends for a cool aesthetic. Ooh, yeah, you can see where this one got... looks like it got taken out because of thin armor in the front. Boy, those are big guns. I imagine you got a weird angle. You've repaired wherever you took damage from already, huh? I think those pillars have to be hiding ammo. There's no way they're not. I just didn't see it because of poor camera work or a fluke. I do love the way the wakes work now. Alright. So that goes to the Serenade first. And now we're in against the Colossus. The stink bug choosing to immediately nosedive and demonstrate the new wake technology in the render distance mod. Brave. I mean, it looks good. It's just interesting choice. Unfortunately, as we're used to kind of seeing here, the Colossus wants to try to close, which means that it just is not going to get its broadsides online until it's taken... Look how on fire it is! Until it's taken a lot of damage, is what I was going to say. It is so fucking on fire, though. You know, usually I don't love the top-down view, but the new render distance mod and the new wakes adds a lot to it. The top-down view actually looking pretty respectable. You know, usually from the depths is a nice kind of at the waterline, on the craft experience. But this isn't too bad. God, look at this thing turn. Differential thrust, man. Tight fucking turn. This might actually be better at turning than Fish's craft. Huh. Yeah, because it successfully has circled around to the other side of the Colossus in basically no time at all. Which, you know, the Colossus wants to switch broadsides, but given the types of guns on this, I don't even know if many of them would be... Oh no, most of them are alive still. Wow, okay. Yeah, first volley too. Those really could have used horizontally placed. You already know this, Sams. You probably realized it immediately or while you were building it or whatever, but you know, horizontally placed mantlets would have been incredible on the Colossus. Just to help with the azimuth of fire. They really don't need their vertical elevation at all. So low in the water, the Serenade. Just always sitting low. Good strat, I mean, makes it much more difficult to hit with functionally all munitions. Yeah, I mean, the rounds hurt from the Colossus. It just very rarely gets to actually bring its firepower to bear. Especially against something that is, well, hole punching it like this. I mean, I don't know how much it even has. Look at that. Wow. Like, that is some damage, man. That is some damage. Colossus is down to 10% firepower, and its health is still continuing to just bleed away. It's very interesting, the combination of Incendiary, which is incredible at doing health damage, and the solid shot in the Serenade, which is incredible at, you know, just poking at components and slowly disabling things. It makes for an extremely competent damage dealer all around, I think. The Serenade is definitely not one to just do internal damage. It's a full package deal, and I believe we're out of firepower and we're DQing from sinking, which is, you know, fair. All right, so now Muse steampunk ship, refusing to let go of its plane, driving backwards. You do you. Lot of detonations going on somewhere. We have been in bullet time functionally the entire... There goes the plane! Immediately into the water. And now it's out. Cool. Wow, look at that. Yeah, we even saw that volley coming in and immediately disabling this turret. This one's been barrel sniped in a big fucking way. Look at the torpedoes coming in. Hell yeah. They're still doing the little splotchy wakes, which is... it's fine, I guess. Yeah, there's two little guys. Boop. Well, more wakes going down that way. Heavy fighter probably DQ'd itself from sinking for a few points there. Yeah, you can kind of track the torpedoes. You know, it's... I don't know. I'm back and forth on that. It looks okay. It looks good. It's kind of cool that the torpedoes are a little bit more, you know, mysterious and spooky now, which is fine. I just also really liked the dramatic wakes that they had before, rather than these, like, post-hoc wake trails. It's interesting. Doesn't look like we've gotten too many more, well, actually, no, that's not true. We're losing a reasonable amount of firepower here. Oh my god, look at all the stupid little machine gun bullets coming in from Muse secondaries. They just don't do... Oh, the torpedoes do, though. Oh, that was cool. Torpedoes just burrowing out right through that gun. Look at that. You know, we're looking mostly disabled here on the Serenade. We do have a little bit of firepower left. on the center and the rear turrets, but I think I see gun parts. I do! That's not good. Does seem as if aim point has started aiming back towards the center of mass again. It sure as hell has. Look at all those torpedoes. Oh, stragglers. Not completely disabled. And it's not been done from hull damage. This one, I think, slowly chipped away by, like, machine gun fire? Whoa! Those torpedoes are so fun. They just absolutely strip away whatever side is facing the steampunk ship. Oh, there goes the gun. Dead to torpedoes, too. What a cool fucking way to kill a gun. That's 2 guns that have been taken out by torpedoes, actually. Looks like all we have left is a single firing piece on this middle gun. And maybe you? Unclear. Well, those chewed right through to the gun, so the next anything at all that targets that spot is going to be doing damage to the gun. I think we just saw a cram bounce. Somehow the plane is alive. Oh, I think that might have been... Yeah. Yeah, it sure was. I think that's it for the Serenade. More big detonations as the turret gets completely blown out. Mew managing to hang on to his mobility this time as well. Had some issues with going engine dead in his run. So that goes to Mewscraft. Alright, next up we're going to be running it up against the entry from Mecha, which is another one with kind of a really low turret count. Just not quite as heavily armored. And with a different firepower strategy. I do like the midship gun here. Very cool touch. I like it, the way it breaks up the superstructure, and it's just cool. It's a good look. It's a very good look. Oh man, yeah, Fafnir are very much on fire. As a dragon, you'd think not a big problem, but it seems to be a problem. Maybe he's a frost dragon. The way this thing leans and how aggressively it can turn is just wild to me. Oh. Dead gun. At least we can hear the APS. Check in on the Fafnir. It has lost a ton of health. Oh my god, yes it has. Just, wow, the center of the ship has been chewed to pieces. You know, it's wild because he's got all this great armor here, but like the necks. Very tinny sounding. Oh wow, look at this. That's so fucking cool, the way it's gone down to like a skeleton. Ah, that's neat. This game's so cool sometimes. Not many torpedo hits. I think the Serenade is just a little bit too fast and too maneuverable for full torpedoes to consistently hit. Even Mews were missing. Not, you know, crazy often, but they were. Yeah, God, the Fafnir just hemorrhaging health now. Not enough. That went over top of it because the Serenade has gotten so low in the water. Jeez. Ooh. Something blew up. Hey, look at that. I think that's the first time we've seen mobility be threatened on this thing. Oh my God, just... It's interesting because it's, I guess the props must have like a set angle for displacement or something. Oh, those partial blocks. Oh, those are not partial blocks. That's a gun. I see. Is it still shooting at this gun that it had already disabled? Or were those from a different one? It is pretty clearly not from this one. It's a really neat underwater silhouette. Bye, guys. Reload cycle, I think. Seems to have just completed it. It's hard to tell if it's an incidence of, or coincidence of reload timing, or if it's running out of ammo, or if it's both. But the Serenade does seem to just stop firing for 10, 20 seconds, which does kind of make me feel as if it's an ammo limitation. But it could very easily be autoloaders as well. It's so weird seeing this thing with like just the front of it out of the water and the bottom like up to the turret cap in depth, and it's just kind of scooting along. Set constant angles on your props. It's a powerful thing, man. You just kind of tell it to always point the nose up, and, well, it's a hell of a lot harder to sink, turns out. Ooh, Fafnir engine dead now. 3, 2, 1. Next up, Big Cheap. It's big, it's dumb, it is, well, surprisingly expensive when you actually count all the numbers. But no one does that. Bye, missiles. Have fun wherever you're going. I hope it's a nice trip. We have some Vanacrams coming in. Looks like they're going to miss in a huge way. Spy plane is successfully on fire. Yeah, the Serenade, pretty wiggly. I don't know if any of these crams are going to be useful at all against it. They're just low velocity. Oof, the missiles chewed through a turret cap, it looks like. Big chunks just being removed. Yeah, oh God, that's a gun. The Big Cheap's main crams and main APS batteries not fucking around. This is a small target, so with the exception of the like 12 derpy ass slow velocity cram batteries, it's hard to miss. Spy plane seems to be wounded but not dead. We've hit a reload cycle with the Serenade, it seems. That is really unfortunate for it. The Big Cheap reporting at 50% firepower. Who knows how accurate that is. Serenade is firing again. Can it bring down the cheap who is big? Probably? Ooh, God, those were nasty torpedo hits. Those were right on a gun neck. They burrowed through to components, but did not kill anything yet. That is going to be up to something else to finish the job. As it stands, we're really close in health. Firepower is anyone's guess. We know guns have taken damage over on the Serenade side, but it doesn't look like any have been completely disabled. I'm sure a ton of guns have been completely disabled on the Big Cheap. Oh no, there it went! A mortar hit on the, or not a mortar, but a high arc, low velocity cram hit on the superstructure, just completely taking it out. The hell are the odds of that? Appear to be targeting the engine. Not the biggest place or the most pressing priority to go for. 2 minutes left. Serenade has really pulled ahead in HP. It is starting to look extremely weathered, however. I'm sure the Big Cheap looks like Swiss cheese at this point. Oof. Damn, man. Whoa! We got a high arc cram coming in and taking out an entire damn turret. Some stray torpedoes coming in. Some less stray torpedoes coming in. Uh-oh. We may not have any firepower left. Oh, there it went. All right. We've got 2 functional firing pieces. It looks like we have gone engine dead on the Serenade. Oh, the superstructure, the mast! Getting hit by a cram. More gun components. Now we've set sights on a commercial passenger ship, cruiser, cruise liner. Has a lot of crams. Has yet to fire them. There it is. Looks like they are... Wow, that is some dispersion, man. Looking like Advanced Wars flak out here. It's a lot of firepower, but the dispersion means that you just don't get to do any damage with it. Damn it, that sucks. I want to see all the crams hit, and I want to see the ship go boom. That's not fair. It's not fair at all. Oh, we are. Engine dead already on the Scourge. Oh, the superstructure getting completely obliterated. Well, I don't know if it's the best use of cram firepower, but it was pretty cool to watch. Scourge down to 88% health and 60% firepower. 58% firepower. Holy shit, it's dropping. We are dead in the water, very on fire, very few guns left. And I am very sad. This is the craft where, like, I don't know if you could make it work really well within the rules of the tournament, But if you could, I would love to see it. So it would just be so wonderful. Massive cram volleys just completely stripping away half of a ship. But for now, it's just a couple smokestacks in the distance. I like the reflection of the masts in the water. That's pretty fucking cool. What the hell? That's not usually a thing. Boy, they're just really making the water a lot better. Hey, look at that! Yeah, you could see the masts and the silhouette of the ship a little bit in the reflection in the distance. Oh, that's such a nice touch. Oh, that's really cool. Well, I'll be damned. Oh, man. Yeah, this thing's Swiss cheese. And on fire. Which I guess means it's actually more of like a patty melt or a fondue. It's tragic. This is a really cool ship to see go down to a skeleton, though. Just because of the way it was built and put together. We, have no audio, apparently. I don't know why we'd want that from the depths. You're right. Who wants to hear this happening? We can see it, after all. Oh, well. Beautiful sound of a campfire. Lovely. Chestnuts roasting on a scourge of iron. Dry firing crams nipping at your nose. This is tragic. I don't know what else to call it. It's so sad. Dry firing crams are probably the saddest thing in this entire game. Smaller even than, or sadder even than small barrel syndrome. Well, I do believe the scourge is dead. Alright, up against the terrible twosome, Whoa Nelly. You know, it is a fair bit of firepower on the Whoa Nelly. There's this, especially if they do manage to surround it, which it's turning in to like go down the middle of them. Which this is very rarely an opportunity that Team Nell has been presented with. Although, man, their firepower is just basically every time the Serenade shoots, a firepower number somewhere on the screen goes down. The torpedoes, unsurprisingly, missing given the situation that we're in right now. Oh, this is pretty fucking cool, though. They actually did manage to surround it. Fire on both sides. Hey, it looks like most of the torpedoes hit that time, too. How fucking neat. We're down to 50% firepower on Team Nelly, though. Which, you know, these guns just don't fuck around on the Serenade. You need so much protection. Without heavy armor, it's hard to say whether you can even protect guns from these, or you just hope that they don't hit anything important or take too much firepower away. The solid shot APS was definitely the round to beat in this tournament. Most people chose to go with a payload semi-penetrator, myself included. But missing out on the... They just ran nose to nose into each other, didn't they? From the Depths is a game. And they just... I have to say, I think they really did improve the collision avoidance AI. It just still really struggles when things can't slow down or reverse. Like, I'm not even being sarcastic. The collision avoidance is actually better than it was. It just is. But it really struggles at setting waypoints when it can't reverse. And I mean, these two are just... Oh, God. Yeah, I don't know if anyone's been watching AA Cannon Man's newbie rumbles, but almost all of the multi-entries have been losing to the larger single ship entries, and there is a reason for that, and it's not just the pathfinding. Damn, how unfortunate. I mean, they really just rip the shit out of each other. They have half of their firepower left, respectively, on each craft still. They actually haven't lost any meaningful firepower in the last couple of minutes. But the Nell that had like 85% health rammed itself into the other Nell and like just ground itself to dust. Oh man, what a bummer. What an absolute bummer. In fact, the other one seems to be seriously limping in terms of mobility. Really fucking cool image there, though. Like, that's neat. This game's cool sometimes. You know, immediately after the whole fucking ramming fiasco and having to, like, talk about it, every once in a while you get kind of a cool view. Some cool fucking boats doing boat things, naval warfare, all that jazz. Next up, it's going up against the Midnight Light. Jacques reached out, said there were a few issues with the guns, so the Midnight Light did go through a mild rework. Nothing crazy, but it works a little bit better now. Before, I mean, some of the guns like couldn't even fire, so just weird ammo things, from the depth things, innocent issues, right? It happens. So it's largely been patched up. Shells been swapped out so that they can be fired and all that good noise. Looks like it's already down 20% firepower. Again, it relies on very few singular kind of main batteries over on the Midnight Light, if I recall correctly, so it just has a high likelihood that these hole punches and incendiary are going to hit a turret, and we lost more firepower, man. Jeez. Losing guns. Yeah, that's a turret cap sinking. It's just too much firepower. Without a way to kind of diffuse it over your ship, it's just too much. And the Midnight Light actually did kind of chew through a reasonable amount of armor here, too. Definitely staying buoyant. Love that you can see the big bell tower in the background. It's really cool. No! You can't just kill the bell. I was just talking about that. Does look like the Midnight Light is almost out of firepower. Has maintained its engine, and it has actually taken off an entire fucking turret from the Serenade. So like, it's capable. It's got some damage. It's going to be interesting to watch its run through the tournament. It still, I think, has one of the highest material reserves. Yeah. 125,000 materials. It had a lot of cost left. It's like we're largely down to casemates, though, at this point. I don't think we have any main firing pieces left, or main APS. Oh, yeah, she's been stripped. Look at that. That's a skeleton right there. Still floating. Still going. Oop, poof. That was a lot of little pieces. Probably part of what's left of a gun. The little pew 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 of the guns is very kind of funny. For how much damage they do, the fact that these are like 200 something gauge, they're like 209s or something. Very underwhelming firing sound. They really do kind of need an APS sound effect overhaul. Looks like the light finally lost engine power. Okay, final bout against Kevin Try's Angry Hole Punch. A lot of APS. I think this fight largely boils down to whether or not the Serenade just gets guns sniped before the Z41 runs out of its own firepower. Z41 choosing to run out, the Serenade following. It does kind of limit the Serenade's firepower, but quite intelligently. Laser and Kevin designed this craft so that when it's going forward, 3 of its guns can still fire. Oh, that is a whole ass turret gone, though. Seems to be firing at the rear turret. It has disabled the rear turret. Interesting. The Z41 doing pretty well for itself here. It only has 2 turrets left to take out. It seems to have lost a couple main batteries itself, and it is never going to be able to actually turn its surviving batteries on target if it doesn't stop running away. Looks like we have a reload cycle going on for Laser's craft. Back at it. The mast has fallen. Oh yeah. There's a bunch of deco hidden detection on it. You know, Z41 was looking pretty good, but running away ad infinitum is just not going to work here, I don't think. Down to 68% health. Hard to say how many guns are left, but we know they ain't on target. Oh, we've lost another main battery. Yeah, the firepower of it's just getting chewed away while it can't even get its guns on target. Heh, not from a lack of a capacity to steer, mind you. Has one big rudder and plenty of fucking propellers left. You know, I think if the Z41 just stayed on broadside, it has a very real chance of being able to beat this ship. But, I don't think it's going to do it like this. I think we're well past the capability of it doing anything of the sort as well, unfortunately. Yeah. Some secondaries firing still. But in terms of dealing damage while pursuing, this is probably one of the nastiest craft in the tournament. Just because of how it was built. It's just built cleverly. Really intelligent design. Z41 is 3% from disqualifications with 7 seconds on the clock. And time. Alright, so it looks like right now, Laser's Serenade is tied for first place in its win percentage with Musecraft. They both won the same number of rounds, and they may have actually gone back and forth in their bouts. I'm sorry, I don't quite remember, but I think we're at 1-1 for them right now. So that's pretty freaking fun.